Hi, everyone, and welcome to Against His Will, the podcast where Noah doesn't want to be here. How are you, Noah? Do you want to be here?
I don't, but this time it's not even a shtick. It's not like, oh, that's what the theme of the podcast is.
It was never a shtick.
I know. Well, but there are some times when I legitimately enjoy doing the pod because it's been fun talking to you, making clips, whatever. I just finished up a gauntlet of 8 nights in a row at the Las Vegas Rio Comedy Cellar.
Congratulations, and you're done.
I'm done
with the 8-night run
until Sunday when I start a new 8-night run. And don't get me wrong, always grateful for the work, appreciate being at the Cellar, but it's not an easy run.
The Vegas Cellar is 7 days in a row, 2 shows a night.
7 days in a row, 2 shows a night, and not the prestige of the New York Comedy Cellar. It's the same people, and the name carries the same weight. And
it looks the same.
You're working with Cellar level comics, but just the atmosphere of being at the Rio in Las Vegas for a week straight is not ideal.
So what I'm getting is the New York Cellar is to the Vegas Cellar as Paris is to the Paris hotel.
Correct.
It looks like Paris. It smells like Paris. They do have croissants. It's just a little more claustrophobic.
That's a perfect metaphor. But yeah, it was... Honestly, the most challenging part of the week was the EDR, the employee dining room. When you work at the Cellar, you get a pass to go into the cafeteria with all the dealers and security and hosts of the casino.
Don't they have 2 different news things playing?
Yeah, they have. First of all, there are 2 different TVs competing. There's a CNN feed and a Fox feed. So you really get to see who from the hotel aligned with what version of reality. But aside from that,
that's hilarious.
There were multiple times this week where when I try to pass time in between shows, because there's a 7 o'clock show and a 9:30 show, sometimes I'll go play craps in between if I'm bored. Good. And there would be times when I'd be playing at the craps table for like an hour and then go get some food. And the people who were dealing me craps had no idea I was a comedian. Then they would see me eating at the table and they're like, what the fuck? You're not supposed to be back here.
Yeah.
And then there were also a handful of times where I was playing craps and then somebody that was at the craps would be like, all right, I got to go. I'm going to a show. And then like 30 minutes later, I'd see them in the audience and they'd see me on stage. So when I'd tell jokes about playing craps, they'd be like, oh, wait, you're the guy that I was just blah, blah, blah.
This feels like an episode of Hacks that I'm like, I don't know. That's not really believable. What? The comedian just goes and plays craps and then goes to the EDR and see, like, I don't buy it.
Art imitates life. But what I was saying about the EDR, the hardest part of the week is there's a soft serve ice cream machine. First of all, the food you're getting in the EDR.
Everything is soft serve.
Yeah. The food you're getting in the EDR, not high quality, not healthy. But beyond eating a gross meal that makes you feel gross, there's a soft serve ice cream machine that I, for whatever reason, could not say no to.
Oh, this is like, for me, this is like dried carrot cake. 2-day-old carrot cake.
Yeah,
nom, nom, nom.
As a matter of fact, why don't you share? The weirdest thing about you, possibly in general, like we all have our quirks, our idiosyncrasies. Maybe the number one weirdest thing about you is how you can say no to delicious dessert with no problem. You can say no to chocolate.
I don't want ice cream.
You can say no to ice cream. You can say no to anything that 99% of the population would deem delicious. If there is a semi-moist, semi-sweet, like a bundt cake that's been out for 2 days.
It's honey cake from Chabad.
Yeah, like,
I will eat that. I will gobble it up. I have no self-control. Carrot cake?
A kind of dry cake with a little bit of sweetness is your kryptonite. Like the one dessert that I can easily be like, get it away. I want no part
bread,
of it.
Banana bread. I think it's when bread and something sweet combine to make a bad pastry of some sort. I want it so bad. If there's like almonds or walnuts in it or raisins, even better.
Oh,
it should be served at an old folks home, and I want it.
True, like any shitty version of a grandma's dessert or like whatever gets left at the dessert table of a family get together is the one thing you can't walk away from. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I don't know what it was about the soft serve. It wasn't even that. Did I eat it? I couldn't stop eating it, and that's the dangerous part of soft serve is you truly have control over how much you're going to have.
Licking your soft serves together.
It was a problem. But anyway, I got through the week. Interestingly enough, separately from the comedy shows, EDC or not EDC. Yes, EDC.
Electric Daisy concert.
Yes, I was thinking EDR and EDC, the 2 things that dominated my life this past week. the EDC, the Electric Daisy concert, was going on, and one of the host sites was like sharing a parking lot with the Rio. So
most people do not know what EDC is.
I still don't know what EDC is, other than a freak show festival.
80,000 people come into Vegas. They do like it's like Coachella on acid,
but all electric dance music.
Yeah, it's electric dance music. Everyone's rolling on Molly. Everyone's wearing like neon pasties and light up
that's
shit.
What was interesting is at the Rio, you knew exactly who was there for the EDC. You had, I would say, 80% Asian, 20% Latina.
Okay.
No white people, no black people going to EDC. It was all Asians and Latinas.
At the Rio.
At the Rio, fine. I don't know who else was there, but the customer base that was staying at the Rio and then going to the EDC.
The cross promotion of EDC Rio was Asian and Latina. And
Asian, Latina, and then it was all wearing next to nothing. It was a requirement, man or woman, your ass cheeks had to be out.
You know the whale tail is coming back.
These people were so scantily clad, and you saw some gorgeous people with incredible bodies wearing nothing, and you saw some not gorgeous people with not gorgeous bodies
it doesn't matter.
Wearing nothing, all covered in glitter, all wearing some form of a weird hat. Not a baseball hat, a sombrero, a fuzzy panda hat, Tinkerbell ears, whatever it was, you knew exactly.
I saw Tinkerbell on our way out of Ka, which I have to say, we took the kids to the Cirque du Soleil show, Ka. It was great. But I was kind of in my head a little bit thinking about some things that are stressing me out. And until there were people that I was like, they might die, they're doing things that are threatening their life, that's when I got out of my head and could really enjoy the show.
Oh, were you actually worried?
No.
At any point? Because
I wasn't worried, but you know, when you're watching someone like balancing 85 chairs on their head, you're like, ooh.
That's the thing about Cirque du Soleil is they do things that are nerve-wracking. Like, they do things that are crazy, and you see it happening. Even if you know they're attached to ropes, there's still an element of danger. But I never, for even half a second, suspend believability or think that A, they're actually in danger, or B, that they're not going to pull off the trick. I have more trust in circus performers than any other kind of performer.
Than drivers?
If I go see a stand-up, there's always a chance they're going to bomb. If I go see a live sports game, there's always a chance the star athlete is going to have a horrible game. Never do I go to a Cirque du Soleil performance and expect anything less than perfect execution. I don't know why that is.
I wanted to be on mushrooms, and I was very sober, but I was like, you know what this could use? A pinch of mushrooms.
Sure.
Did you have that thought when you were watching Cirque?
Yes, except we were at the 4:30 in the afternoon show with our two children and your mother.
Which was why I was sober.
Which is also why shrooms would have kicked it up a notch. But the cool thing about going at 4:30, the hack is it's a huge theater. I don't know. Seems like it's seated at least 2,000. It was like half full. So we bought bad tickets in the back, and they just scooted us up. We got like 12th row center because it was so empty in there that they moved the five of us up there. The boys loved it. It is very fun to watch a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old witness circus acts.
Although there was one little scene where like the big fat lady was trying to climb and the two clown guys kept smacking her butt and they were dying laughing.
The comedic relief of the circus was everyone's comedic relief. A fat woman getting men to slap her on the butt so that she'll walk a little bit faster. And that was the big takeaway from the boys. Not hanging 150 feet in the air, not death-defying somersaults or
there was
fire
like a
juggling
wheel that they were like running on
just
top of.
A fat woman getting smacked on the ass so she'll hurry up.
And they were like, I love that part with the smack. They smacked her butt.
Well, they would have loved EDC at the Rio then because lots of fat butts being smacked on the way out. So what's going on with you?
We did. So I had a show at Zero Bond, which is a members only club at the Wynn.
Okay. You don't get to flex directly after me talking about being at the Rio where you throw in members only at the Wynn.
Well, I only did one show.
It's a real case of the haves and haves not. All right, so anyway, go on. Sorry.
You had 19 shows. I only had one. It was just one show, and I want so badly to make this an extraordinary show, so I book extraordinary comedians. They came from LA, Danny Jollis, Fumi Abe, and they did not quite know what to expect. By the way, because of EDC, I was in bumper to bumper traffic. I'm not going to like harp on it, but I rarely get caught up in bumper to bumper, but we were just like in a parking lot for an hour.
Yeah, we can skip complaining about traffic. That's not an issue that anyone cares about. But
as we looked out the window, it was like all these naked people and we're like, oh, that's why there's traffic. We get there. And we walk in and they were like, there's a private entrance, and it was really fun to take friends to this members only club. They were like,
you get free valet with a specific valet only for zero bond.
Yes. And they're like, wow, you look like a mini Deborah Vance. That's my second hex. It's hanging out with Danny Jollis. And we walk into the zero bond. And it was really funny. Fumi is still like in his heart of hearts a horny teenager, and he was just like, everyone here is an 11.
Yeah, Fumi is funny because he's the sweetest guy in the world and legitimately so innocent, but also constantly like a horned up 15-year-old in his soul.
And we did a sound check, which is something occasionally you have to do, and then we sat there and we all got drinks like right away.
Is there anything stupider than the comedy sound check?
No,
you
nothing
literally,
in the world
it's like,
dumber.
is the microphone plugged in?
Hello?
Cool.
Okay, it works. Bye.
Yeah.
Can you get here at 2 p.m. to do a sound check?
That's what I was going to say. Actually, it's good that people do a comedy sound check because if the acoustics are off, that can ruin the gig. What's funny is when people ask you to come do a sound check like 3 hours before showtime because it literally takes 12 seconds.
Like if the acoustics are off, what are you going to do to change that?
Cancel the show.
Hello?
It's
off.
There have been a handful of times where the acoustics were so bad at the gig I was doing that we would have been better off just being like, we don't need to do the show tonight.
But they never cancel it. So we all get drinks, and there's really beautiful cocktails. And Danny Jollis gets like a martini that has these lemon wedges on ice with like a thing of caviar. And I was like, is this food? I was so confused what it was. It was all part of this martini thing. So he comes in from, driving through Barstow to whatever, or Arizona. And then he enters the members only club and just immediately is like, caviar and martini, please.
Well, that's what's so funny about comedy is the highs and lows, the Rio versus the Win members only.
The EDR.
Comedians, we've all spent decades literally sometimes getting paid in drink tickets for like shots of vodka or shitty tap beer. If they feed you, the comedy menu is like, you can either have chicken wings or nachos. Every once in a while, the universe gives you a gig where it's like open bar and they provide you dinner, and it's like
immediately you feel
top
like a
shelf
king.
And Michelin level food. It happens once every 6 or 7 years, and so when it does happen, you do have to take advantage. And it sounds like Danny and Fumi took advantage.
Yeah, filet mignon and caviar martini, please.
Fumi was into the Toro sushi,
yes,
right?
And he was like, I never get this, but I'm getting it. So watching him like get a comped meal, and like they were like splurging and all that. Anyways, so we're all drinking. The drinks kind of hit hard, and I'm immediately like loosey goosey. We still have 2 hours till the show.
Sure.
And I was like, I brought up this conversation of people touching comedians. Now, I've heard male comics, like good friends of ours, say that they'll do a meet and greet line and people will like credit card swipe and grab and
I think
touch.
a lot of it is fan base dependent. It depends on what kind of comic you are, therefore what people perceive you're like off stage. Like I know a lot of comedians who are kind of filthy and playful and inappropriate on stage, but off stage are kind of introverted or want to be left alone, but their fans don't know that about them. So like, I don't know Jim Jeffries well at all. He might be extroverted in real life, but because of the vulgarity of his act and how drunk he seems for most of his career, I saw a meet and greet after Jim Jeffries a couple years ago because Orlando Leyba took me, and he was getting like his fans will straight up come and grab his crotch or like pinch his ass
Lord.
and think it's funny. So
I will say, because we were talking like men versus women comedians, and I was like, I have only been inappropriately touched by other comics, never audience. And that's like the truth. Never audience. They've never been weird with me. And I also don't do gigantic meet and greets, but I've watched whatever.
Sure.
Jared Freed, women are like very properly I
would assume that women, not inappropriate, but I would assume that because Jared is, I once joked that Jared was like the embodiment of a Juicy Couture jumpsuit. Like,
yes,
he's a male member of AE5.
He wanted everyone to like do a sorority pose.
Right. I was going to say, I would assume that women would come hug up on him, but in like a Jewish sister kind of way.
Yeah, that was like a camp photo or like a team photo.
Okay.
Like, let's all pose.
Sure.
But anyways, we were all sharing stories of getting like, who's getting groped. And actually, Fumi and Danny shared that their fans get quite handsy. And
Interesting.
Danny Jealous has some kind of face where women are like, we can pinch and touch you and grope you.
Well, he's very non-threatening.
Yeah.
And he's not fat or chubby, but he's kind of doughy in a weird. Danny, I mean no disrespect,
Yeah,
but
like pinch his cheeks.
Yeah, he has a
cuteness.
smushy face, so I could see that. What's interesting,
No one does touch you.
I love nothing more than boundaries. You know that about me. You're
a bountiful man. Bounty man.
I do not like being touched against my will. I'm actually okay with meet and greets after shows as long as people are respectful. My pet peeve, which is often something they can't even help, is
chewing.
No, well, yes, but I don't like handshakes because of the wild
Germs.
card. It's not even the germs. It's the one out of every 3 or 4 very wet palms that you can't recover from. And so, like, a handshake is arguably one of the more respectful things a fan can do, as opposed to coming and trying to credit card swipe your asshole or pinch your cheeks.
No one's doing that to you, though.
No, but I have a lot
wet, sticky handshake.
I have a lot of people that will come out and very respectfully be like, great show. I loved it. And they'll offer me a handshake, and the hand is a palm that will ruin the rest of my night, and I can't really react in real time.
Imagine the Diddy documentary where he was like, "Oh, I need to wash my hands. I can't believe I touched those people, dirty people, street people." I was just thinking there was one instance where someone was groping you, and it was at a Macy's, and we were buying furniture.
Well, yeah, that had nothing to do with comedy. It just
this old lady was selling us a couch, and we wanted the discount, and she was like, "So, what do you want?"
It was an old European woman with an ambiguous accent decided that she wanted all the Noah Garden stores that afternoon.
And I said to him, "Do you need my help?" And you said you're okay. You felt safe.
Well, it went from you wondering if I needed your help, like backing her off, to you encouraging me to get her to touch me to try to get a discount. Like, at a certain point, it seemed like you wanted me to go fuck this old lady in the back so that we could get a free chaise lounge.
I told my friend about this, and she wants to take her husband Gunther to Macy's and have him like walk by to see if she's interested in him.
I forgot about that lady, but I will just say, if the reverse were true, if there were an older man who was touching you that way, it would have been such obvious sexual assault. This woman was groping me an inappropriate amount, but I didn't mind.
We got the discount.
We got the couch, baby. We got the podcast couch. Look at this thing.
Wet handshake. Wet handshake.
By the way, one other thing I want to talk about, going back to the Cellar, and maybe you could speak to this about Zero Bond. I just got done recording a special, so I spent a year and a half fine-tuning these jokes I was really proud of. And when you're working towards something, you're always excited to go try them out, because either you're like, hey, I finally nailed it and I'm in the rhythm of the joke, or you're trying to find the tweaks that work and there's excitement to doing the work to make it as good as it can be. When you start from scratch, when you've done a special, the only 2 options as you do shows after that are you can either go up and bomb for a while working out new material that you have no idea if it's actually going to work yet, or just play the hits. Give people a good show with jokes that you know work, that you have no interest in. And that was the option I took. I told myself, because I had 14 shows at the Cellar, I was like, I'm going to work out a bunch of new material. And then I got there, and I don't know if I just chickened out or if it was just an indifference because they were paying customers. I didn't want to give them a shitty show. So I played the hits. I did all my best jokes from the last 10 years that I haven't told in years, but I was completely dead behind the eyes. Like, I think the crowd had no idea. I think they enjoyed the show. I had good sets, but I got off stage every time being like, well, that was a real phone it in kind of set.
You were like a Broadway performer.
I did 0 new jokes. I pushed myself to work out 0 new material. And it's just funny how in comedy there are very specific sets. It's either a work it out set, I finally got this and I'm excited to do this new material set, or I am phoning this one in set.
You're phoning it in, but you're giving them a great. I think that this week was like, it felt like a job.
Yes.
And I think the difference is sometimes when we perform, it's this creative passion. And
Correct.
Sometimes when we perform, we are completing a job. So you just had to do your job.
Correct. When I say phone it in, I don't mean I phoned in the performance. I sold the jokes, but I hated it from the inside.
But I support what you did, and I also think like when we get Bagel Mania up and running, we can start work. You're gonna want to work out all these precious, fragile jokes.
That's what it came down to. Is I didn't want to work out new material for people that paid money for the tickets. I do think that if you're giving a professional show to a paying audience, you owe them a good set. Now, an incredibly famous comedian can come work out at the Cellar, and even if they bomb, people are thrilled because they got to see a famous person working out. But if you're just a professional comedian that 95% of the audience doesn't know, you just owe them a good show, whether they're jokes you're excited about or not. That's my stance.
Yeah, Adele can just be like, I was thinking this might be a good song. I don't know what you guys think. And then riff. But if like a lounge singer's like, what do you guys think of this?
They got to bring it like it's
like
karaoke.
Yeah, we want that. But you know what?
By the way, speaking of karaoke, we are going. I'm not going to name the family. We are going We are going to a high-profile bar mitzvah this weekend. One of my childhood best friend's son is being bar mitzvahed, and he is a member. He is a member of a very high-profile Hollywood family where there's a lot of gorgeous voices. And on the invitation, we didn't even clock it. On Saturday night for one of the parties, they're doing like bowling and karaoke, which is an innocuous event.
Me and you were like, okay, karaoke.
But then you reminded me karaoke with this family is literally going to be like watching a Broadway show in person.
I walked into the party.
Do you know how much confidence you have to not be a singer and perform karaoke at this family's event?
It's interesting. Yeah, and you said it would be like doing an open mic at our bar mitzvah.
Yeah, it would be like if at Moses' bar mitzvah we just had an open mic comedy night.
Except for you can't read lyrics. If only you could like do Jerry Seinfeld's act by reading it.
Actually,
that's my texting. Oh my God. Stand-up karaoke.
Stand-up karaoke where you just recite other people's act and you have to do the voice. This goes back to last week when we were talking impression. Actually, that was stand-up karaoke where you just recite.
You have a teleprompter and you just stand there and read other people's jokes.
Yes, but you have to do it in their voice. Like there's the Sebastian Maniscalco, the Jerry Seinfeld, the Chris Rock. That's a good idea.
For Moses' bar mitzvah?
Don't steal it. 72 people that subscribe and watch, don't steal it. But would you do it? I think that's pretty awesome.
Okay, so we'll call up our venture capital people and
we'll just get our $1 billion investors.
I'll go to Zero Bond, eat some caviar martinis, and we'll get this going. What else is going on with you, Noah?
Wow, what a natural transition. I tried to pull a 2-for-1 at urgent care yesterday.
The classic.
I've had 2 medical ailments over the last week. I've had a random rash under my right eye. It's completely confined to under my right eye. It hasn't gotten worse, but hasn't gone away. And then I had a little flare up with the prostate. When you're 42, sometimes that happens.
I've been faithful.
It's not an STD, just an active prostate that got a little swollen. So I could tell there was a little something wrong down there. And both the urologist and the dermatologist were several week-long waits, and I really didn't feel like waiting. So you encouraged me to go to urgent care, so I just signed up. And when I went back there, they were like, so what's wrong? And I told them I have a rash under my eye, and I think my prostate is swollen. And they said, we can't treat you for 2 things in one visit. So I had to it was the Sophie's choice. They were like, so which one do you want us to treat? And I was like, I suppose.
Can't you walk out and walk right back in?
Well, they would probably just double charge me. Like, yeah.
Double charge me.
And so I went with the prostate. I was like, all right, I'll throw hydrocortisone under my eye and hope that it goes away. But it was just funny that like I tried to pull a 2-for-1 and they were like, yeah, I can't give you double medical advice, both of which were probably going to be wrong because it's just an urgent care. But ultimately, I just got a prescription of antibiotics for the swollen prostate, and I'm hoping that the eye goes away. I don't know if that was worth it, but I thought it was funny trying to pull.
That's a very funny that they only want to treat one thing.
Right. Well, also, and that they asked me which one it was, as opposed to like giving the professional medical opinion of. They literally weren't like, well, you've got 2 things wrong, but here's where I would advise you.
They were, heads or tails.
Basically, they just essentially were like, you can pick one. You got 2 things wrong. I'll talk to you about whichever one you want. You pick.
I've got a bullet wound and my eye is itchy. All right, pick one. Sorry, we can only
itchy
do.
Eye? I'll fix the bullet wound on my own.
And they weren't like, sir, I'm going to need you to make an appointment 5 weeks from now at a real doctor.
Yeah. No, nothing. It was just.
It reminds me of my weed doctor.
Pick your poison, eye or prostate. What are we talking about? You choose.
In LA, you used to have to go to the doctor's office to get a prescription for weed in order to buy weed at all. There was no like recreation. So I went to the doctor's and you sign up, you pay, and then you go in and it's an a fake doctor with a little iPad on it. It's like a scarecrow with an iPad.
Sure.
And it was like a doctor on the iPad being like, are you okay? And I'm like, have trouble sleeping. He's like, great, here's weed. But it just reminded me like medical shit is going awry. All of the doctors are becoming concierge. The urgent care is...
Either that or you know what? I think doctors have been pushed to the brink of too many clients coming in saying they Googled it on WebMD and this is what they think is wrong. They're like, fuck you. If you want my real opinion, you're paying $1,000 a year just for the privilege of being seen by my practice.
I don't blame them.
Otherwise, go to urgent care where they'll fix your eye and prostate in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this week in Vegas, unless there's anything else you want to talk about. Oh, one other thing I remember you wanted to talk about last week, which we didn't get to, but we could bring it up this week if you want, is we went and saw David Sedaris.
You know, you get advertisements all the time for what's going on in Vegas. And of course, I see David Sedaris. I was so excited. I opened it up.
It's funny that that's what stuck out to you for all the things that are going on in Vegas. A David Sedaris reading, which is basically like an NPR sit down.
Exactly. And I was like, we're going to get front row tickets. So we got front row tickets to David Sedaris like it was a rock concert.
Yes.
And we got there and both of us look at each other. We're like, what's he going to do?
You know, let me just say, just like at EDC, whether you were a man or a woman, if you were going to EDC, you had your butt cheeks out. David Sedaris, whether you were a man or a woman, a lot of gray ponytails in that room.
A lot of bifocals, gray ponytails, a lot of gray hair. I was like, I got to go gray for this.
A lot of cardigans, bifocals, and gray ponytails in the audience.
A lot of whites.
Super a lot of whites.
But it was a beautiful theater. It's the Smith Center. I don't think either of us have seen a show there. I don't know that this qualifies as a show.
And it's also so long since we've gone just as viewers to a show. Like, that didn't involve bringing our kids as something we're trying to have them experience. Like, you and I just going to consume another artist as audience members.
It was our hot date.
Without any kind of connection to the performer. We haven't done it in a while. And to get front row tickets was kind of funny. But
it hurt the neck a little bit. I will say front row. Can I complain about front row?
Not the place to. Well, I think I think there's a reason the front row tickets were cheap.
It was a little hard.
Yeah.
But it was such a fun show. I enjoyed. He did his reading. Do you think that what he read was in his book, or he said this is what he wrote since he wrote the new book?
He did a mix. So he has a new book to promote, which is why he's doing this. Which is why he's doing this tour. And he read, and he would announce, he was actually good about that. He would say, this is an upcoming chapter from my book, and he would read something that's in the book he's actively selling, and he'd be like, here are 2 things that I've written since, and here's one that I'm not doing anything with. Here's a diary entry. He recommended another book of a new young writer that he really enjoys and read a chapter from his book. So in general, he just read for about an hour and 15 minutes, but he's an engaging reader. He's very funny, and then he did a little Q&A, and you got to ask a question, so that was a big highlight for you. But more than anything, I was inspired by how many tickets he sold.
That was unbelievable.
To see someone who is just a writer sell close to what seemed like 3,000 tickets for people who just wanted to hear him read his work
venue,
out loud.
People pouring in line for drinks. Like it was this whole hoopla, and it was a tiny man wearing a kimono and standing at a podium taking sips of water, reading excerpts from a book. He was excellent, though. It was
interesting to me. I had never heard his voice. Because you read by listening to books on tape. I actually read by reading words in front of me.
That reminds me, we need to do books on tape.
I've consumed David Sedaris strictly by reading his work, so I had no idea what he sounded like. And his voice wasn't far away from what I guess I would imagine based on what I knew about him, but it was still different than what I expected to hear.
I knew his voice very well. I was obsessed with Holidays on Ice, and I've listened to him a lot. So I don't know if you consider it reading.
I don't. We've talked about this.
On the drive to LA that we're going to do. It's
literally not reading. It is listening, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're consuming the information, but you're not reading. I
love to audiobook on a long road trip, like some of the best books that I've consumed.
There you go.
I've done it on audio. I'm an amazing... I receive information by listening. It's what I do.
That's fine. It's just not reading. All right, let's do This Week in Vegas.
So I read in Vegas, and this is so cool. You can pay for parking tickets if you donate school supplies, unopened school supplies. That is a great way to handle that.
It is so refreshing to hear of an effective way to pay for parking. Normally, it would just be misappropriated tax dollars for it to go directly to school funds. Teachers need it. Underprivileged schools need it. Good job, Vegas. As a matter of fact, I might go out and get a parking ticket today just to support this initiative. I think that's great. It's creative. It's effective. I wish more government operations worked in that way, where they linked a direct cause benefiting from whatever the penalty is. I think that's a great
they're
way
like,
to do it.
hey, we saw you got a speeding ticket. Would you like to donate some orange cones?
No, it'd be like public intoxication. Now you're going to read at a children's library.
No, you have to put the library books back.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But yeah, I think that's great. I like that idea a lot. That's what I got. I also would love to do.
But did they specify how much you need to donate? Like, can you get a $135 parking ticket and just bring in a pack of mechanical pencils, or does there have to be?
I really have to do some more research on exactly.
Because also, if you can't, now I'm starting to go the other way, where this is kind of nefarious. Like, if you can't bring in specific items, if it's just like, oh, bring in $50 and we'll donate it to teachers, now I'm like, they're stealing that money and the kids are never going to get those products.
I don't know. NBA arena proposals. I mean,
whatever.
EDC winds. We had some crazy wind. I thought the house was going to blow down. You don't want to talk about the wind? What about earth and fire? Actually, there's fires in LA right now. We might not even go.
We're going. You think I'm going to miss this celebrity karaoke? Get out of here. I'll drive through fire for it.
Earth and wind.
Fun fact about Noah Gardenswartz. Never once participated in karaoke. I have never once sang karaoke in public, but I do love consuming.
You love singers. I love singers.
I'm moved by singers. I hate bad singers, but like good singers, good amateur singers, discovering the hidden gem of a voice, the talent of someone who no one knows can sing, and they just belt out a beautiful song, brings tears to my eyes every time.
We're about to see someone sing Natural Woman in a way that we've never heard before.
Have you ever heard Natural Woman performed in a synagogue?
Yes, actually. It was my bat mitzvah.
All right.
What about your news story? You had a news story on Vegas.
No, I didn't. Once you told me pay for parking tickets with school supplies, I was like, that's the story. I think it might have taken us 10 episodes to get an actual newsworthy story from Vegas.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, we really bullshit our way through this week in Vegas.
Because it's a bullshit city.
I'm aware, but I'm saying this was legitimately good, so I don't have anything to add or try to one-up you with This Week in Vegas.
Updating a wing. Which
the EDC butt cheek wing expanding.
You know, the Hard Rock, as I was driving Fumi and Danny through to the strip, they were like, what's that giant guitar?
What do you think that giant guitar is? No matter what city you're in, if you see a 70-story tall guitar being erected, it's only one thing. Obviously, a Hard Rock hotel.
He was like, that's a guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, it sure is, buddy.
What else could it be?
And now, no doubt, is at the Sphere.
Stop trying to force Vegas news into the segment. You're not going to be paying for parking tickets with school supplies.
All in all, Vegas news is what it is because Vegas is
entertainment capital of the world, baby.
Silliest place on the planet.
Entertainment capital of the world.
I was trying to tell someone that the reason Vegas is so fun is because there's always shit going on in the world. There's always bad things happening. There's always craziness. But there's also always someone turning 70 and someone having a birthday party and a bachelor party. And we need a safe oasis to ignore any trouble in the world and just
come celebrate what you're celebrating without having to apologize to the world for feeling happy while so many are in pain and so many people are down.
It's my 70th birthday.
And I want to fucking see Garth Brooks.
I want to see Garth. Blame it all on my roots.
No. You are not doing that.
I'm telling you right now. Karaoke.
I am telling you right now.
Can I do karaoke?
No, I was just about to say, this is a boundary I am putting down. You will not be performing karaoke at this Actually, you know what? Fuck it.
And
I
I
don't
wake
care.
up in the morning and I step outside.
Don't
and
bother
I
me
take
about
a deep
singing
breath.
karaoke, but if you want to go up there and embarrass yourself after Tony Award winning performances, by all means.
I think I will stick with karaoke jokes.
If you want to be the karaoke equivalent of someone coming up to a professional comedian and be like, hey, I got a funny story, you can use this. That's who you're going to be if you go do karaoke in this family's karaoke night.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be the, I got a funny thing, you can use this as a bit guy.
Cringe.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Speaking of, can I use this as a bit? We got Joke Yard. Before we get a call from school that our kid is sick.
Oh my God. I don't know if I have joke. I didn't look through my phone. I'm sure I could find an old joke, but part of me wants to boycott Joke Yard as a penalty to myself because I spent the last 9 or 10 episodes having jokes that I could have worked on. And then when push came to shove and I had a stage to work them out, I did none of them.
Do you want me to edit together all of only your Joke Yards?
So that I'll have the proof that I can just continue to ignore?
I'll do a premium just Noah Joke Yards.
Yeah, I'm going to give myself a 1 week penalty. I don't deserve to get to work things out on the microphone because when I had an actual stage, I was
Fine,
a lazy
then you have to
pussy about
sing
it.
a song.
No, I'll just tell you why your joke doesn't work. Go on. What's your joke?
So I don't think we've talked about this, but my dad loves to tell.
We talked about it. I'm just joking. You just started my dad. And I was like, yes, we've talked about it.
My dad, that reminds me that, I don't know. I want to do a joke about how like you can get your tits done at the DMV in Las Vegas. Anyways,
sure. That's funny. That's a funny line. That's a funny premise.
They do that. It's quicker if you make an appointment.
Vegas is such a weird city. You can get your tits done at the DMV.
In fact, I encourage it.
And you get your driver's license at the plastic surgeon.
In fact, it's the only way you can get your license.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You have to register your tits at the DMV. Yeah. They make fake tits in Vegas so big you have to register them at the DMV. Like the way you have to mark whether or not you have contacts or glasses. Yeah. You have to mark whether or not you're going to have fake tits so big it's going to obstruct your vision while you're driving. Yeah. All right, go on.
Are you an organ donor? Which one?
Can we remove the silicone?
I'm an organ receiver.
Would you like to donate your tits should something happen to you in an accident? All right.
My dad likes to tell jokes and he tells them at people that don't want them. It is really frustrating. If you go to a comedy show and you hear someone making jokes, great. If you are in line to get a bagel, you did not sign up for a comedy show. And I have to corner my dad sometimes and be like, stop telling jokes. I don't want to hear it. No one wants to hear it. The grocery person, the person bagging your groceries doesn't care or want to laugh at your jokes. That's what it is he's waiting for them to laugh. And I'm like, this sucks for everybody. And I said,
which is funny because you have the inability to not tell jokes. You're funny, so your jokes are good, but you also bombard people with jokes.
Like, I'll say something sarcastic and then I'll talk to myself. I'll be
how many times in social settings do you see me grimacing as I see you launching into conversational material? Yes. Well, when I'm trying to be
credit card swipe you.
When I'm trying to be couth without being disrespectful or interrupting, if I feel like you're taking too much oxygen in a conversation, if we're like at a dinner, I will politely and gently place my hand on your leg under the table, which is my very sweet version of shut the fuck up.
And then I look at him and go, you missed my clit by 4 inches.
That's a fun bit. That's a fun bit. All right, sorry.
So my dad being annoying and telling jokes, which I have also, maybe it's about me. I said, that's like going to the DMV and you're a football player and just launching footballs at people. No one asking for it.
I think you need a funnier example.
For sure. I could feel that.
So you're really hung up on the DMV. There's something about the DMV that wants to work its way into your material now. Huh?
It was because the original joke that wasn't really working was it's like a football player going to the DMV. And then when I said DMV in my head, I brought up that tits at the DMV. Let's get away from the DMV.
I think the premise being my father likes to tell jokes at people while they're doing blank rudimentary task that shouldn't involve having to be a comedy audience works for. That would be like this person going here and doing that. I think the X's to X's, Y's to Y will work perfectly, but I think DMV and a football player throwing footballs are both the wrong example.
What about someone cutting hair at church?
Sure. I mean, you can play around with it. You can pick any location and anything that's not supposed to be happening at that location.
Magic at a public bathroom.
That's better. See, that's funny because magic is inherent.
In a porta potty.
I think that's where you need to go because, like, cutting hair, throwing footballs, whatever, neither of those things are funny, but also magic is inherently annoying like comedy. If someone is performing something at you, I think you did have to choose an art form, so that's good. That would be like someone singing to you in a public restroom, whatever it is. But magic in a public restroom, funny location, funny.
Pick a card. I have to shit.
Funny art form, funny location. There you go. Pick a card, any card. Toilet paper. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a real killer. It's going to annihilate in giant theaters.
Can't wait.
Zero Bond is going to be watering their mouth.
Your fans are going to be groping you so hard after you tell that joke.
I loved that joke, and you brought up magic.
All right.
Any shows coming up?
No.
Yes, you have a week at the Cellar.
I have another 725 shows at the Cellar next week.
Can you sell the Cellar a little bit more so that people actually want to go?
No, the Cellar is great. They bring great comedians. It's a fantastic stage. I love working the club. It's just...
I have a deal I want to make with you.
What?
I'm going to wet my hand and shake it.
Ugh.
I want you to work out new material on your new week.
Fine, but actually one thing I do want to plug, and I'll talk about this more next week when we really get into it, but I launched a new YouTube series called The Spreadsheet, where we are taking comedic angle into trending topics on prediction markets. So we're just talking about whatever the trending bets are in pop culture, politics, sports. It's funny, it's silly, but we're actually talking about the bets that exist on these prediction markets, and we need people to subscribe to YouTube. It is youtube.com/@Spreadsheet Show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment,
It's
all
so
the fun
funny.
things. Esther was a guest on one of the first episode
You
segments.
will learn how to make money.
We have a
Hot
good time.
tips.
I'm going to talk more about this next episode because I feel like I actually need to speak about what we're doing with the show and all that. But please, for now, just trust me. Just follow youtube.com/@Spreadsheet Show. That's what I want to plug.
I'd put my money on it. And I would like to plug, I don't know. I'm all over the place, but I am consistently posting content. My OnlyFans special is up.
There you go. Plug that.
And please watch it, and I will be clipping it like the kids are doing. We'll clip it up, but go and watch it.
Clip it like a moil.
Yeah, that's a good one. Clip it like a moil. Clip it like a moil.
All right. I'm out. I'm done.